So today we're going to be diving into a debate or a topic that usually sparks a debate, uh, which is splitting bills in a relationship.
Ooh, yeah. Some couples swear by going 50-50,
Right.
while others think it's outdated. But what's actually fair? Is going 50-50 really equal when incomes aren't the same? And how does you splitting the bills say something deeper about your relationship? We're breaking it all down today. So let's get into it, shall we?
Yes, let's get into
Yeah.
it.
All right, let's start with the basics. So, splitting bills down the middle, it sounds fair, but what happens when one person makes significantly more than the other? That can lead to resentment or even maybe like financial struggle over time.
Right.
Like, what do you think about that?
Well, exactly. It's like splitting bills down the middle is not always, it doesn't always mean that we're splitting things evenly, right? It's
Definitely not, especially with children.
it's about making sure both parties contribute in a way that feels balanced and equal. So it's based on your financial situation. It's also based on what you bring, to the household. Some
Mm-hmm.
couples do proportional contributions where one person pays a percentage based on their income, or they just basically split everything down the middle. Um, what are your thoughts on this?
Yeah, so this is an interesting topic. And I think, do what works for you in your situation at the end of the day. But for me and mine, we do like a percentage, like you just mentioned. So he'll pay 70% of the bills and I will handle the rest. And, I think like when you're in a serious partnership, especially if you're married, it's different. It gets different, right?
Right.
It's not your money or my money anymore per se. I mean, I don't agree with that, but it's supposed to be a our money thing, and I don't know. I feel like for me, I don't want to split things down the middle. Like, take care of me. I'm already taking care a lot of what is going on in the household.
Right.
And I just feel like a 50-50 split is not really a 50-50 split because aside from the financial piece of it, I'm contributing more. Like, I'm bringing more to the table. So it's going to be a 50-50 split, but it's also going to be like, I don't know, like just mentally, it just won't feel 50-50 to me. And that's where I feel like a lot of resentment can create itself in a relationship. I like
So
to still have a sense of control with my money in my account, whether we're married or not. Sorry, babe.
so just like stepping back a little bit, how did you guys get to that agreement? Was it something that you guys like spoke about when you were dating or when you first moved in? Like how did the topic come up? Because I think that's big. Um I think this is a really big topic. Like it's really important, and I think that we don't really talk about how to address it. It's just something that kind of everybody just goes out and kind of like runs into. It feels like
Mm-hmm.
almost like, oh crap, we're about to move in, so how does this work? And it's
Mm-hmm.
almost like it's like with friends. Like you go out to eat, or somebody invites you somewhere. It's like, do I? There's a type that like push the bill, like push their credit card to the bill, or there's a type that are like kind of sitting around waiting for,
Mm.
it's a weird topic, and I think that it kind of is weird across the board. It doesn't matter what type of relationship you're in, but specifically when it comes to relationships, um, where you're moving in with somebody, how did you guys even come to that? Like when I think about me, um I don't remember. I mean, it's been a while, but I don't remember ever discussing that until after we were moved in and like there was like friction, like, or there was Like it kind of just, we ran into it. So,
Yeah, I think the conversation is inevitable. You know, ultimately, you do end up having to have that discussion and talk about those things. I mean, finances are the number one reason for breakups and
mm-hmm.
divorces. And so it's a pretty important topic,
Yeah,
and it is going to be the elephant in the room if you
right.
guys don't address it early on. For me, I didn't have to initiate the conversation. It was just kind of like a, hey, I'm the man. I'll pay more of the bills. I just feel like that's the right thing to do type of thing, you know. Um, and I think it carried on as we had BJ because I'm not going down to 50-50. Like now it really doesn't make sense because I'm, again, and I'm going to continue to harp on this. I am carrying a
Sweat
lot
equity.
of the mental load around the home. So for it to be 50-50, it's just ultimately not fair for me. But in terms of the origins of the conversations and how that came about, he was the one that was like, hey, we're about to move in together. Like, how are you feeling about finances? You know, how about I pay 70% of the bills and you know, and I was honestly, I'm fine with that. I would never do what works for you, again, at the end of the day. And I think that, you know, there are some married couples that they combine everything, they pay bills out of one pot. um but it feels risky or even like unfair if one person is spending more freely than the other, which is why that never is ever going to work for me. And I like to have a control and like a sense of my finances. And I don't know. I think it's also, how do you feel about money? What's your relationship with money?
I
You
agree. I
know?
think that's a big part of it. I feel like, again, it's not just, I mean, it's big. The biggest relationship you're probably going to have is with your significant other, but I think it originates with your own personal relationship with money. I feel like if you are flowy with it, that's how money treats you. If you, and again, this is just my take on it, right? If you're stingy with it, that's how money comes to you. Um, for me, when I got into it, I don't remember how it went. I mean, I've been with my husband for a pretty long time, but I know it's changed. There's been different phases. I do remember very well how it was at the beginning, though. And I know that once we got married, we had tried to have a joint bank account. That did
Mm.
not work out really well at all. I think that it was just like for me, kind of being a a new wife. I think that I was trying to do what I thought was right. I was, young, and I thought that being in a marriage means that you share everything, and it like literally like share everything, cuz like back then especially it was like what's mine is yours was like kind of the feeling of marriage.
And you're like one
Yeah,
unit and one flesh and like,
right. And not really knowing, no offense to anybody at all. It's not, anybody's fault, but just kind of not having direction in that. I mean, I just saw my parents and I was like, oh, it looks like they share everything. Like, you know what I mean?
mm.
So, that's kind of the lead I took with that. But to be honest, that was probably the worst thing that we did. It was hell, like trying to, because I mean, we're two different people. We had different
Mm-hmm.
relationships with money. We definitely did. I came from an upbringing that was like blue collar and was like this is what we have, like protect it, like secure what you have, make sure that you're responsible. And my husband, was came from a different mindset. Um, and then I was really good at balancing my checkbook because my father, always instilled that in me from young. I used to have a checkbook. I started working pretty early and managing my own money.
The kids these days are like, checkbook, what is that?
Right. But I mean, if it was like a 2 cent fee, I was in there jotting that down. Like it was so
Did you
bad.
feel like having a joint account was like, did you feel like one person was spending more And then, like, did you feel like there was a kind of like a disjointed
I mean,
understanding with the account, or
I guess you
like what
could,
was
I
like
could see
the
how that could
issue?
happen.
Mm-hmm.
It was our relationship with money. It was how I was. Like I just told you, like I would 20 cents would come out and I'd be like 20 cents, and I'd balance that book
Mm-hmm.
because back then we did not have access, not trying to give away my age, but like back then we did not have access on our phones to like, we didn't get alerts every time something happened. We had a checkbook. And this is when I was younger, like I was a teen, starting to balance books. So when he came and we were trying to do it, he would not tell me everything he spent. And I would get upset.
Mm.
I'd be like, hey, like, what's going on? And then he was kind of like, I make money. It's my money. Like, or if I can't,
And
every
then you're
move I
like,
gotta
oh,
make, you
it's
gotta,
our money.
right. And then that's
So,
a whole issue because I'm like,
yeah.
what is that? What does that mean? So for us, which I am, the biggest, um, believer in having your own separate identities, your own separate, lives to an extent where like, you have your friends, you have your own life. I think that also contributes to just the bank accounts. Like we both have a bank account that has both of our names on it, but we know it's ours. Like my money goes in there, his money goes in there, the bills come out of wherever it has to, come out of, and it gets paid accordingly. I never had something where it was like split or we had an agreement like that. So it is intriguing. Like when I hear that, because I'm like, I kind of, and I'm not saying I agree with it now, but I kind of was like, if I'm with you and you're a man, like, again, it's a different time, but I was
Mm-hmm.
like, you're going to take care of the bills.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like I am the prize. Like I am like you're gonna, yes.
Period.
And that's the vibe that, I mean, that's like kind of the way I went into it. Like I'm not going to settle down with anybody who does not bring all of this to the table. I'm not saying that I feel that way now, but that's initially how I kind of went into it. But let me say this, like there there were times where I held us down. There was times where he held us down. More than, both of us down, or more than I did. So but he always was kind of like, I'm the provider. I'll when he's able to, he would take care of us. And then it got to a point where I want to say it's very healthy, because it got to a point where like I don't know where the money comes out of. I don't know if it's his account or my account. It doesn't even matter. Like it
Mm.
just is, money goes into the accounts. And I mean, I guess that, I am grateful for that. That is a blessing. But I also think that it kind of says a lot about our growth with that subject. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like nothing wrong with anything else. I just think it's like it's growing pains. Like it's something that has to go through. But I'm always curious about it. How people, especially Gabrielle, like when she said that, I was like, people really had like a lot to say about it, and I was like, even me, I was like, yeah, I don't know about that. Like that
Yeah.
that was kind of, how did that, like, what did you think about it when she said it?
I mean, I think that like we've all seen these stories before on like how celebrities handle their finances, and I think for me it's like, why do you feel like we need to, or like y'all need to do things 50-50 when y'all both make a substantial amount of income? Like and I think, and she said it was like a trauma
Mm-hmm.
response. It was like I don't know if this is how she felt. I'm just kind of assuming, but maybe it was like a control thing, because I know for me, it's like, I don't want you to take 100% of the bills, because men have, I don't want to say all men, and I know that like my husband wouldn't do this, but some men subconsciously feel like, okay, I'm paying all the bills, I'm in charge of all the finances. I kind of like, I say what goes around here.
Yeah, I
And
can see
it's like
that.
relinquishing a specific amount of control, and finances are important, So it's not just going to be like, oh, you and your money, because essentially if you're paying all the bills you have a chance to use that as leverage. Now, I feel like no good man would actually do that, but I don't know, like heated arguments, things are said, things are like,
For sure. For
well, I pay
sure.
all the bills.
Yeah.
And so, what do you do around here except for cooking? Like, no, you're not going to do that to me. So, and I think maybe that's where she was coming from. I don't know. She said
I
it was a
think she
trauma
said
response.
something like that. I think she said, like, how could I trust you? Something about trust, like
Mm-hmm.
trusting him with, and
With
I don't,
100%.
yeah,
Yeah.
like
Mm-hmm.
trusting her, like with your heart, but you don't trust him with her, or she doesn't trust him with the security.
Mm-hmm.
Something
Mm-hmm.
like that she had said. And like I think her response was really like nice, like in her kind of, because she did go viral for saying, the whole 50-50 thing. Because I think people were kind of like surprised, like, why are you guys going 50-50?
Mm-hmm.
But I think it is tied to like, again, like I do think it's tied to like emotion. I do think it's tied to what you're saying also. For me, it's like, if you're, that gets tricky if you're going to stop working. Right, but as long as you're
Yeah.
working, it's like one thing. But it does get tricky when you think of everything else that you're kind of giving up in the relationship. Like, what if somebody is like, you're making a sacrifice for somebody's career, and then they
Yeah.
end up paying with it? Like, that's, I mean, what she's saying is really like, it's real. Like,
But it kind of doesn't, it's real, but it kind of doesn't make sense because, girl, y'all both make millions of dollars. Like, I don't understand. Like, and your husband is an NBA superstar with millions. Like, I'm sure he makes more than she does. I mean, I don't know, like, what tax bracket they both specifically fall under, but I would assume that Dwayne Wade makes more than her. So, girl, let that man pay for stuff. Like, and it's not like you don't have a job. It's not
right,
like you're a stay-at-home mom. Like, you have your own finances as well.
right,
So let him pay for things. But I think it was deeper for her. I think it was more of like a, like you said, and like she said, like a, hey, I can't trust you with 100% of my heart. So why am I going to trust you with like 100% of the finances?
well, I think it was the opposite way. I think that when she kind of did her healing and kind of like
Mm-hmm.
growth, she was like, if I'm going to trust you with 100% of my heart, then why can't I also trust you with the
Oh,
finances? You get what I
okay.
mean?
Yeah, don't quote me. She probably did
Yeah,
say
we
that.
probably
That makes
we
sense.
are jacking up that quote. But I
Don't
mean,
look at us as a,
come for
but
us.
she did, but what we do know today
Right.
is that she did initially make a statement about the 50-50 thing, and that's what worked for them. They
Right.
have a blended family, multiple investments, I'm sure. Um it was a decision that they made as equals and not based on outdated gender roles. And I just love that women can, like, even for me, for her initially saying that, I was like, okay, I don't understand this makes no sense to me, but you go, girl. Like, you stand on whatever it is you believe in, because I feel like at one point in
Same.
time back in the day, if we're kind of taking things back to gender roles and just all the old outdated BS that people used to live by, women would never be able to pipe up and say, hey, like, no, actually, we're going to do 50-50. We weren't even in the financial position to even say so,
Right.
so I kind of was like, okay, girl, all right, like, if
Right.
that works for you, I'm here for it,
I agree. I didn't understand it. Didn't really care to understand it. I was just like, okay, great. Like, it's
Yeah.
another woman that, she's speaking her truth and she's standing in her power, so be it. But I am not, yeah, I think that I I don't know. I don't know if any of that stuff that we were going by before actually applies today, because everything has changed.
No, it doesn't. It absolutely doesn't.
Everything has changed. And I don't know, like, that I completely like it, because it seems like it it seems like it came from a place of like necessity. It didn't come, you know what I'm saying? It's
What do you
like
mean, like women being
like you
more?
said about the whole situation, like, oh, the man says he pays for everything, so he's going to do
Mm,
whatever. It's like, well, no, you're not going to do that to me. because I'm going to do this. Do you
Mm.
get what I'm saying? It's
Mhm.
like, it's kind of like everything else that we talk about where we're like, oh, the women, aren't kind of like, whether or not like the mother role, is getting kind of appreciated or anything else, like it just came from, in my opinion, it feels like it came from a place of like, look, I'm going to show you I can do this, and here you go. Like, I can make money, I can stand on my
Mhm.
own, I can do all this stuff, and that's fine. Like, I'm all for it. Like, yeah, we can. But like, I don't like the feeling of, I kind of feel like it's like, I don't need you to take care of me because I could take care of myself. And I get it. There's a power in
Mm.
that.
Mhm.
But like, why aren't you wanting to take care of her? It's like kind of like this
Yeah.
woman, like, is like a
Like,
mother to your
why are you
child. Like,
agreeing to the 50-50 thing? Like, what is it more so that for you? Like, so you appreciate it, but it's also
I
like
appreciate it. Like, I'm glad that women are like,
the
hey,
the nuance from
right.
back in
Like,
the
we
day
always,
and how like you're kind of like, okay, where is that? Like,
like,
where is it gone? Like,
because it just feel like I forgot what I saw. And I'm so, like, I probably shouldn't bring it up because I did forget where it was from. But I saw something where they were like, oh, maybe it was a show. It was like the women are the new men, like flying guys out, like, like flying guys out for the weekend, like whatever. And I was like, yeah, but I don't mind, somebody flying me. Like, I don't want to be
I feel
working
like,
that
okay,
hard.
I saw that.
Did you see it? What was it?
Okay, I
Was it
think it
like a
was I
show?
no, well, maybe you're talking about something different, but like what comes to my mind is there was a clip of Brandon Marshall. He's like a ex NFL player. I think he played for the Dolphins, maybe. I might have got that wrong. I am not a sports fanatic, but
He played for the
um
NFL. He just played for the
he just
NFL.
played for the
Yeah, yeah,
NFL.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
he's one of them. But anyways, he had that podcast, I Am Athlete. It like was really popular during COVID time, and you're not following me. Okay, anyways, so
But it's okay. I believe you.
he got on social media. He was like said it in an interview,
Yeah.
and it kind of went viral, and he was saying how like he was like dating this girl and she flew him out, like
Maybe it was that.
she
It did
like,
feel clippish.
and he was like, oh, like, the women are really like they gangsta, like they the new ninjas, like they and but I love that for
I
us. I love
do.
that for
I'm not saying I
us because
don't.
we've been oppressed for so long. It's been a system of patriarchy for so long. And
I
it's
agree
like
with you. I
we
agree
should,
with
but
you.
I understand what you're saying too. It's like sticking to traditional
No, I
norms.
agree with you 100%. But I'm like, I feel like like, feels like in everything, the dudes are kind of like taking a step back and they're
Mm,
like, yeah,
like
you,
shrinking a little bit.
like,
Yeah.
look a rap. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, just look at everything. Like, it's
Mm-hmm.
like, I'm okay with it. Like, I'm perfectly fine. But it's like, it being fair and both of us, the men and the women, kind of doing it. But I think it's almost like giving the lazy ones like an excuse to kind of like just.
Not like man up. And I get what you're saying 100%. I think it's just like it's a fine line, especially in the culture that we live in. I think like women they have so much more power and so much more presence and authority than they used to have. Like we used to be subjected to just only being the homemaker, like we're staying home, taking care of the kids, like that's all we're good for, back then in the day,
And that's a lot though.
that's a
That's a
lot.
lot. Like,
That's a
to
lot.
birth kids, to raise kids, to take care of everything in the house and still
It's
make money. It's a lot.
yeah,
It's a
but
lot.
I almost feel like it's back in the day. I almost feel like it was like a hey, we know that women have the capability to do XYZ. Let's do everything that we can to keep them suppressed and kind of like
For sure.
keep them down. And so just the energy of women just making their mark, being more present, you know, sometimes women are the breadwinners now in certain households, and they make more than their husband, or they make and it's also like, how's the guy supposed to navigate that? You know what I mean?
And
Like,
that's fine, but it's like, what is the impact to a family? Or,
mm-hmm,
you know what I'm saying? Because look your mom, right? You know what you bring to the table with that child and everything like that. So what is, I guess, like, I'm not saying it's wrong at all.
mm-hmm.
I'm just saying that, like, 9 months is a long time.
A
And
long
and
time.
then
Mm-hmm.
after that, it's like, it's just, I think that it's great to be strong. Me myself, like, I'm ambitious. I've always, been a powerhouse in my relationship as well. But it does feel good to have that from a partner, especially when it comes time to start a family or do things like that, because it is a lot on you to feel like you still have to keep on going, and there's all these changes happening to you. Now, if you decide not to, depending on whatever you decide to do with your life, is like on you. It's not, I'm not saying anything's wrong with it. You might, you could be with another woman, you know what I'm saying? You might not be in a traditional family, like, to each his own. But I'm saying, like, coming from the generation that we came from, and coming from, what was before into what is now, I'm just curious of how it's going to change that dynamics, and how it's going to
Yeah.
change everything like that. Because, like I said, I am successful. Like, I have a successful in my own right, right? And it's a lot. Like, I know what it did to me, feeling like, being like that, having that ambition, and then having having a family, and how hard it was to just kind of press the brakes for myself and slow down.
Mm-hmm.
Um, like, I just can't imagine. And I'm, kind of curious to see how that changes when you feel like, all right, I'm the one doing this. I'll bring this. I'm going to fly him out. I'm going to have kids, and he's going to take care of them at home. Like, nothing wrong with it. But as a society that it's
It's
changing,
changing.
it's
Yeah.
like,
Mm-hmm.
what is going to come out of that? What's going to happen? Because when we were growing up, they told us we could be president, right? They told us we could be anything we wanted to be. And, they're empowering. You see the Disney movies, you see the empowerment of women and things like that. It's beautiful. I'm all for it.
Mm-hmm.
I'm all for it. But I think that there's this natural way of things
Yeah.
when you're in a relationship. And I don't just mean, like, I'm not just speaking of men and women, but there's like a natural, it's like, how they're like opposites attract, like things, there's a yin and a yang in every relationship. So it's like, in a traditional, and that's all I could speak of, right? But in a traditional relationship, how is that going to work when naturally our yin and yang is different? Do you get what I'm saying?
Yeah. Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
like asking you to go to work and you have like two more kids, and then your husband like stays home with them. It's like, you know what I'm saying?
That would not work for me, because I still want my husband to be my husband. Like, I still want my husband to be the man of the house. I still
Right.
want, because even for me, and this may be a little toxic to say, and I think
Ooh.
I've grown, so I don't want to even speak this out into the universe, or that I would even like utter these words out of my mouth.
But you're
But
going to say it.
I would say, like, I would always keep that in my back pocket. Like, okay, but you stay home with the kids and I make the money and I bring home the money. So
Oh,
so
but how
what
could
was
you say
said?
that?
So
You
what
just
was
were
said?
talking about that.
So what was
But you were
said?
just talking about
Excuse me?
But you were just talking about how that's not okay for men to do.
It's not,
But
but
you're
it's not okay for men to do, but it's also not okay for women to do. So it's, and that's why I said it's like a
yeah.
fine line. Like you have to find the balance, and you have to find what works for your relationship. Now, let
Yeah.
me ask you this: would you ever be, well, obviously you're married, but like if you weren't, would you ever be with somebody who made less money than you?
Yeah. I mean, for sure I would.
Would you expect him still being the man? Would
It's
you
really hard
expect
for
him
me to
to
answer these
pay
questions.
more?
No. Okay, it's really hard for me to answer these questions because like I got married young, so we
Mm-hmm.
grew together, we built together.
Mm-hmm.
So would I make or would I be with somebody who made less than me? Yes. I'm thinking because I'm staying in the same mind frame that I was when I was, first dating my husband. If the idea is to build together in my head, like, sure, if we're building something together, of course, because I do think that men kind of get to that. Again, this is just my experience. Don't come for me. Just, I think men come like kind of reach they're like slower, just like anything else. Just like
No, I mean
everything
they
else.
are historically, yeah. I
Um,
mean, men mature slower. It's just the thing.
I think women kind of hit that
Mm-hmm.
that success or that place with their career like quicker than men.
Yeah.
Um, so I didn't realize that when I was younger, but I definitely just like kind of living see it now. I did not. I would if there like I am a big romantic. I am a dreamer. I if we say we're gonna do something, I love a good plan. Like I love like hope and all that stuff and like
Hopeless romantic.
yes, going over the rainbow together for sure. I would do that. Now, in my life right now, at the big age I am, and after being in a relationship and where I am in life,
Mm-hmm.
would I? I don't know. You know what I'm saying? Like, because I'm at a certain place in my
Yeah.
life, it's different than when I was 20. You know what I'm
Mm-hmm.
saying?
Mm-hmm.
I don't think I have the patience for that now. And it's not about dollars and cents. It's about what are you doing? Like,
Yeah.
if you
Yeah.
meet somebody who's like has a startup business and he's like determined, and you see where he's like, would you walk away from that just because he doesn't make more than you?
That's a good question
I
because
wouldn't.
I don't know. I feel like, because about 5 seconds ago, I was going to be like, what I want y'all to know today, I am not dating. If I was not married, I would not date anyone who made less than me because I have been in that very situation. It is very stressful. I feel like a lot of the financial burden falls on you because you make more. I was with someone who he not only made less than me, but his job situation was inconsistent. So there would be times where he had no job and he, I mean, it wasn't ideal, but I was also young, like you said. It was like early 20s. I mean, my
Okay, but
frontal lobe,
I've never had patience for that.
my
So I guess
I didn't have patience for it in the
I'm
moment,
not
and
saying
I
it's a bad thing or
no,
like
and
coming
I
down
think
on
it's
you.
just the learning experience. You just have to. If you go through it, it's just like, okay, like I know what this feels like, and I know if this
Yeah.
works for me or doesn't work for me. But I just I can't. I need the man to make more than me. I need to feel like I can be taken care of, and it's
But I
like
feel
a
like
safety thing for me.
giving them a chance is okay.
Giving them a chance is okay.
I feel like if this is the third startup you're doing and it's not where I'm like, yeah, I
Yeah.
don't, I
It's
can't anymore.
circumstantial, I feel
Yeah.
like, too. It really depends on the situation. Like you said, if this is like your third startup or if you're trying to start a business, but I don't see you really putting energy into, if you're not
You're on the
like
couch.
staying up late, waking up early, really putting effort, blood, sweat, tears into starting, like if I don't see that,
And even if I
Head on a
do,
block. It's a chop.
even if
I
honestly,
no.
even if I do, like if this is like the third or fourth time and it's always the same thing, it's like I don't know if I could, if I'm that patient for it. I do not have a lot of patience when it comes to that. I think I've always felt like there's a lot of fish out in the sea, like you
Yeah.
know, and it's just there's a season for everyone, you know, and it's probably not our season, but I do think that we're kind of ignoring like falling in love also and the emotion that comes with it because like she said, like if I can trust you with that, like that's like I don't think if I
Mm-hmm.
was making more and you were just not really finding your rhythm with your, you know, situation, um and I was in love, like I don't know if I could trust when you did. You know what I'm saying? Like when you did kind of I don't know. I don't know.
Wait, when you did what? Like, what are you
When you
saying?
did start making like enough. Like
Mm.
I think I would have to, I don't know what her reasoning is, but I do think I would feel like it would take me time to kind of be like, okay, I'm all right. And in that situation, just kind of thinking of what it could be, and I'm not saying this at all, but like if you're with somebody who's like has infidelity or doesn't treat you right or things like that, but they're
Mm-hmm.
making good money, yeah, I could see why you wouldn't want it to like want them to take care of you that way.
Yeah, because they already don't have good intentions and they're already not prioritizing you and loving you properly. Because if you're cheating
Right.
on me and doing all those kinds of things, like it's not, you're not creating, I don't feel safe with you. You're not creating a safe space for
Right.
me,
But
you
I
know?
am very
So,
much about common sense. And I'm like, if I'm here, I don't care if you're not taking care of me good, you're going to take care of this. Like, if
yeah.
I'm, like, it doesn't matter if I'm emotionally here or not. Like, I'm obviously here
Mm-hmm.
in this relationship. So, yeah, I don't know. Like, not to say, I mean,
So
I
you
would
would
definitely,
stay?
if you're going to stay, would you, okay, in a situation where you would stay, because, with somebody who's not treating you well,
But is making million, like let's say they're raking
and you're
in like
like, let's still be 50
millions.
50. Again, we're not talking about them specifically. We don't know, right? But if you're, this is just hypothetically, if you're in a situation where somebody makes millions, right? And
Mm-hmm.
you make less millions or whatever, less than what they're making, and they don't treat you well, or there's something that you don't feel safe, you know, relationship wise, and you're there with them and you're like, yeah, I want it to be 50 50. That makes no sense to me.
Yeah, that's dumb.
Like just let them pay for the bills while you're
Yeah.
staying there being treated poorly
Yeah.
or whatever, because you're still there. I would be there and just be, you know, stacking up my less than millions, whatever that is, for the day that I'm like,
So I
yeah,
can
this
get
is
ready to leave your
enough.
ass. Exactly.
I don't get that part of it. Like that's the part that I mean, I'm very, and again, this is not about her. Like, I'm all for people growing and things like that, but it always has to make sense for me. That's just how I am. I get that that's not like ideal for everyone else, but it has to make sense. Like,
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't know.
And then I think about like Beyonce and Jay-Z. I'm like, I wonder how they
yeah,
like are splitting up their bills. Like, you know, they probably they both make a substantial crazy amount of money. I'm like, you know, I'm wondering if they're like, "Oh, are you going to pay B? Are you paying the electric bill this month? Oh, no, no, no. You want me to do it? Okay, fine."
do you think it's
Um
like that? I have it. I honestly feel like it's just bucos. Like, when you make, they're both successful. So, like, why, what do you,
like what would be the point? Like
like,
I
isn't it
I
like,
would
where do you want to
imagine that they would
invest?
have like business agreements in place to protect their assets. I think to me, if you're making that much money, it makes sense to just have like a lump sum account and just like have things come, because it's just like they're making a just copious amount of money, and it just, for them to nickel and dime and be like, oh yeah, so you take the water bill this month,
But
I'll
which
take.
one? They got like like 7 or 8, probably. Like
That's what I'm saying.
I feel
I feel
like
like it gets very like trivial at a certain point, and it's again, it depends on what you're bringing in, how much, like what's your income look like, is I think it really, there's so many factors. And I think whether you're making millions or just trying to figure out who's going to cover the Wi-Fi bill, I think the key is finding a system that works for you and
I feel
yours.
like if me and Ryan made as much as Beyonce and Jay-Z or anything, like Bill Gates or whatever, like I would be like, this business is taking care of it. This business that we have, like this,
Yeah, like it doesn't even become like a, oh, you
right,
or me type of
right.
thing. It's like, okay, our
It's not
businesses,
even an
or yeah,
issue.
it's not, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. It doesn't even have
yeah,
to do with who's going to be responsible for it, because we make too
yeah.
much money at the end of the day,
I agree.
you know?
All right. Well, that's it for today's episode. So,
Yes.
whether you're a 50-50 person or percentage, couple, um,
Me.
or just still trying to figure it out, um, the key is making sure that both of you are on the same page and you're having an agreement and communicating with it and just kind of having grace with each other. Times are changing, the world is changing very fast, and that's just outside noise,
Yeah,
honestly.
you
It's
can't worry about what others think when it comes to how you want to do things in
right.
in your home. And and I think, as much, again, as much as it did not make sense to me, Gabrielle's stance on the 50-50 thing, I first of all, I don't get why people cared about it that much, because it's just like, okay, this has no effect on y'all lives. But it was just interesting to see that, you know
I didn't
a,
care
a
about it.
couple that made that. I didn't care. I
I
cared
just
about
didn't
it
know
for
why
all
she
of
felt
maybe
that.
5 seconds.
But why did you
um
feel like I was like, you guys, like, why are you even talking about it? Like,
yeah.
why? But after she responded, I got it. I was like, oh, okay, I
Yeah,
understand
I
why she
understood.
said
And I
something.
also, yeah, and I also think it humanized them too. You know what I mean? Because it's like celebrities are having these conversations, and it's interesting, So
But they're very humanized. They're very much in the spotlight, I think.
I don't mean like that. I mean like, because I think people think of celebrities as like these entities that are like, they live such different lives than us. And while that may be true, like in specific aspects, they're still human. They still have human conversations. They still, deal with some of the same issues that we commoners deal with,
Hmm.
we peasants. Not me, but y'all. But if you like this episode, share it with a friend, leave a review, tell us, how do you and your partner split finances? Do y'all do the 50-50 thing? Do y'all do a percentage? Does one person pay 100% of the bills? What does it look like for y'all? DM us on Who's Gonna Tell Her podcast, or comment on our latest posts, and let's keep the conversation going. Until next time, take care of your money and your relationships.